Hi, Indra.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us after a long day at work. We are here, today to discuss about your profile, your journey towards the MBA admissions. You have an admit from IIM Ahmedabad PGPX. First of all, congratulations on that.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Please share your profile and your work experience and aspirations with us.
I am a mechanical engineer from NIT Trichy. I graduated in 2017. And after that, I've had 6 years of work experience in manufacturing operations and project management. I started my career with PepsiCo. I worked there for like 2 years. Then I moved on to ITC. I worked in the classmate division. I was majoring into operations planning and projects. And post that, I took a 6 months break in my career, and then I moved on to a startup called Picure. I was into their customer experience role. I was working as a program manager. I still work there as a program manager. That's been my professional journey. And be my aspirations. My immediate aspiration is to get into say consulting, but my long term aspiration is to come up with my own consulting firm, especially in say operation consulting, because my stint with ITC has helped me understand this MSME structure in India. I kind of wanted to explore into that, and I kind of felt that there's a very good gap where we can help these MSMEs because some facts like they do almost 50% of the export of India. That's a very big market. I thought let's target that. So that's my long term aim. So that is where I position myself in the future.
Great. And what were the criteria which were important for you when you were selecting the MBA programs?
I want to have an overall understanding of the business, like to take an informed decisions on in my future. And other than that, I valued a lot when you're in a class with people who are who have gone through this entire rigorous process and then have a good amount of work experience and in different domains. Networking also was something which I valued a lot. And thirdly, a brand name also because at least in India the brands matter. So I wanted to add that one more esteemed universities to my profile. So that was also one thinking which I had before choosing it. College.
Absolutely. And, coming back to preparing for tests after such a long period of work experience, how was it? How was your journey with the GMAT?
It was tough because, especially after working for like 6 years and, you tend to make the trouble I had with GMAT, especially with verbal was you kind of tend to assume a lot, fill in the gaps in the information and, you tend to take that bridge. That didn't really work in GMAT because that is exactly what they are very objective about it. They don't want you to fill those information. I kind of felt there, but it was a very good journey that, to that GMAT thing because I learned a lot of things, especially about the language or grammar and things like that. And that was interesting. I kind of felt that even if you do good or not in GMAT, it will help you. It was a very interesting experience, and coming to a competitive exam after 6 years also was a bit a massage to the ego, I would say, because you already had cleared something. So it was a good experience.
Yeah. And about working on your personal brand with respect to putting up your application and the interview prep. So what are the things that you think that somebody should keep in mind when working on these?
Setting your stories right, to be exact, I think choosing the right stories is a very important thing because everyone has a lot of stories because you've gone through college, have some work experience. You have to choose the right stories for the right scenarios. Like for strength, you need to have a particular story which is like which makes which keeps the reading engaging. Having a clarity on choosing the stories was one of the most important things while preparing for your application. And discovering also is one thing because you kind of have to contemplate a lot on even the smallest things because I kind of had this epiphany of oh, it was a butterfly effect. Something so small happened, and because of that, something big happened in your life. And when you try to tell that in in an application, it was engaging. So discovering and choosing the right stories is something people should keep in mind while contemplating their application.
And for people who are, so what was the interview experience like at IIM Ahmedabad? It's a different pattern altogether.
First interview was taken by professors. I had two professors with me. And the first round was extempore round. So the first question I got was, why should India go for green technology? This was my topic. So you get a minute or so to, articulate your thoughts and, jot down your points, and you get a notepad also. Like I try to use my experience in industry and keep industry as the anchor between the clean technology and unemployment. So I stuck to what I knew. So I think that helped. You get a lot of cross questions during this time because they would give you another examples. Like in my case, they give examples of other industries. Like, they were able to do it. Why not? Something like that. They kind of try to drill you and try to understand how you navigate these challenges or navigate different thoughts. So that was interesting. And after that, it moved on to why my career decisions and, what work actually I did in ITC, like, in depth of, what were my contributions and what were the exact things which I did. They moved on to my current position and they asked me insightful questions like, who do you think are their target audience? And, how do you think their business model works? And why do you think that it was more insightful because I had spent very less time. The interview was very well orchestrated because they knew which kind of questions to ask, for what career you have. Like, for example, my long-term 4 years of ITC, they asked very deep questions. But for something which I recently picked up, they were okay enough to ask questions which can be answered by perceptions or observations. I think that was something very interesting about the thing. And it was very interesting. Sometimes they kind of try to talk to themselves. That can distract you a bit. The last part, they try to intimidate me by telling, this is not the program for you. They were like, what do you want to do? I told that my entire story, like, I want to go into consulting. This like, why do you want to do that? Because here people usually come to pivot their career. If you want to go to marketing management, this makes sense. But so they try to do something like that. I kind of stuck to whatever I wanted. So probably that helped. At the end of the interview, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I've read somewhere that they give you a toffee. They asked me to take that toffee and, I took that. So yeah, it was intense, but also very balanced interview.
Everybody who goes to a certain venue, they do get that toffee. It's been happening since the last so many years. For people who are just starting off on this journey and they're planning for, the MBA applications for the next cycle, what would be your suggestions in do's and don'ts or things that they should take care of in this journey?
I think one of the more obvious things is working on GMAT if if you're not done with the exams, because once you have gone past a certain score, you'll be comfortable doing it. I scored a 680, by the way. So I kind of had that all anxiety of, during applying, where my friends who had like 720 or 730, they were well set. It's good to have a good GMAT score is what I would say. I'm not sure how GMAT focus edition works, but whatever its 700 benchmark is, I think that is a good number to achieve. And other than that, like I said earlier, I think discovering your stories is something, try to understand and contemplate your career in a way that what impact you have created, what changes you have got in and around your life, or, probably go back to the childhood working, understanding your strengths. Like whenever people talk about their strengths, it's not talk about something generic and try to be very more specific. That requires a lot of contemplating. Someone who is starting out, if they start out earlier, they will be able to dig in a lot and they'll be able to get out the best strength, weakness, or stories out of themselves.
Planning to take up any MBA admissions consultant, any tips for them?
First of all, you are great, ma'am. Thanks a lot because I can say that because I actually rolled up for IIS. I got with you for ISP, but you are the one who suggested me to go for IIM, and it worked out really well. And you were kind enough to help me with the second applications also. It was very good experience. The best part is that you kind of reply in a very prompt manner and with the right comments. So that actually helped me because I remember I came to you at a very last moment, like 2-3 weeks. You were very cool about it, and it's like, okay, we'll done. So that kind of gave me some confidence. Okay, it can be done. In general, people who are looking for any admission consultant, I need to be comfortable with certain this. If you don't have free flowing communication with them, it is going to be difficult because I felt application is a very nerve wracking process. You get a lot of anxiety because if you have something, you need to get it cleared then and there. And when you're not able to do that, when it takes like 1 or 2 days for them to come back to you, your anxiety builds up. A good consultant is someone who responds like really fast because it is a very anxious process. If possible, they can test that out. They should be able to. Other than that, everyone gives you the right insight that is okay. But on working on an emotional part, it would make more sense.
We worked for ISB as well as IIMA, and you
Yeah.
did interview with ISB as well. Thank you so much for your time, and all the best for your
Thank you,
future
ma'am.
journey. Keep in touch.